It all started with that screech of tires on the dirt road outside my new place. This black SUV pulling up like it owned the world. And out stepped these folks in jackets emblazoned with the Oakwood Estates HOA logo, slapping me with a $40,000 fine right there on my doorstep, claiming I'd wrecked their grand plans just by buying the land they'd been eyeing for years. I stood there, heart pounding, thinking about Sarah, my wife who'd fought leukemia for so long before passing last winter, how this spot by Silver Lake in Montana was her dream, our dream, a quiet cabin where we'd watch the eagles soar and the water turn silver at dusk, and now these strangers were smirking, saying pay up or pack up like I was some intruder in my own grief. I didn't yell or argue, just nodded with a half smile, knowing deep down they'd messed with the wrong guy, a civil engineer who'd spent years navigating red tape and building things that last, and this fight? It was going to be on my terms, right here on this slice of paradise I'd snagged for $150,000, way under market, because the seller pulled it from some big resort scheme. Or so I thought. Let me rewind a bit to how I got here, folks. I'm Ryan Hayes. Used to design green offices in Portland, all sleek lines and solar tech. But after Sarah left us 6 months back, the city rain just drowned me in memories of doctors' offices and late-night worries, so I chased her vision of a lakeside retreat, finding this 3-acre gem with old fir trees dipping toward the crystal water where you could spot salmon jumping clear as day. I'd parked my old camper there, sketching out the cabin, wind turbines for power, a rain garden for her herbs. Everything eco-friendly like she'd sketched on napkins during chemo sessions. And for a few peaceful days, it felt like healing. Like I was keeping her close, watching deer graze at twilight while I sipped coffee, whispering her name into the wind. But then Victoria Lang rolls up with her crew, this sharp-dressed woman with hair like a TV anchor and eyes cold as lake ice, flanked by 3 guys who looked like they'd bench press a zoning board for fun. She hands me this fancy document, all stamps and seals, saying, "Mr. Hayes, your little project here's throwing off our 5-year master plan for the community, environmentally sensitive and all. So we're assessing fees to keep things pristine." I scanned it, pulse steady from years of spotting blueprint flaws, and shot back calm like, "Interesting read, Victoria, but my deed shows this land's a good mile outside your HOA lines. No way you're slapping rules on free soil." She leaned in, smile tight as a wire. "Boundaries shift when the greater good's at stake, Ryan. We're protecting values, yours included." But her tone had that edge, like she was used to folks folding. And when I pushed for proof of their so-called expansion, she waved it off. "It's in the works, county's processing," while her goons just stared, silent muscle in khakis. As they drove off, I spotted a drone humming overhead, camera winking at my camper. Chills ran down my spine, realizing this wasn't neighborly nitpicking, but something greedier, tied to whispers I'd heard about big developers circling the lake. And suddenly Sarah's dream felt fragile, like I had to armor up or lose it all over again. That drone buzz. It lit a fire in me, the kind I hadn't felt since Sarah's diagnosis, when we'd battled insurance denials together. So I dove in, engineer style, poring over county maps and HOA charters at dawn with black coffee steaming, confirming zero legal reach, their claims pure smoke. Drawing on my old drone tech from forest surveys back in Portland, I rigged up cameras and sensors around the property. Motion triggers, night vision, the works. Figuring if they wanted to spy, I'd turn the tables. Sent off a crisp cease and desist, hand-delivered to Victoria's swanky office where the receptionist blinked like I'd dropped a bomb. And sure enough, they fired back not with facts, but a phony letter from some state planning bureau, demanding $4,000 for bogus inspections, threats of lions if I didn't cough up. Called the real office, NADA, no record, so I knew it was fraud, but then my cams caught Victoria sneaking around at odd hours, measuring shorelines, jotting notes like she was plotting a heist, and it hit me. This was personal for her, maybe tied to her rep as a community fixer, with a fat paycheck from Summit Properties, the outfit gunning for a mega resort that'd swallow my land and half the lakefront, displacing folks for golf greens and yacht slips. Fired up, I cut a video. HOA hits me with fake 40K find the proof. Narrating it deadpan over the footage, her smug claims exposed, and boom, it went viral overnight. Millions viewing, comments flooding with HOA nightmares, lawyers offering help pro bono, even reporters sniffing around. But Victoria? She didn't back down. Oh no, she amped it up, dropping a deep fake vid of me at some fake town hall, agreeing to their rules, Voice cloned perfect, scar on my cheek and all, referencing Sarah's love for the lake like they'd rifled my soul. Neighbors turned nasty, old Mr. Wilkins from the bait shop yelling, "Why lie, Ryan? We saw you promise cooperation." Texts accusing me of tanking values, supplies cut off at stores, isolation hitting like a gut punch, making me doubt my own head late nights in the camper, staring at Sarah's photo, whispering, "Did I imagine it all?" But her last words echoed, "Fight for our spot, Ryan. Don't let 'em steal the sunsets." And it snapped me back, resolve hardening like concrete. Enter my old college buddy, Alex Klein, a digital whiz now busting fakes for the feds. We'd geeked out over code in dorms, dreaming of tech saving the day, so I rang him desperate. "Alex, they're gaslighting me with AI lies." And he jumped in, dissecting the video pixel by pixel, spotting glitches and shadows, timestamps off by days, compiling a report tight as a vault. Armed with that, I filed complaints, State AG, Fraud Division, and then the sabotage kicked in. Power flickering out mid-drawings, internet tanking, utilities claiming official holds from ghost agencies. A note on my door one dusk. Dreams cost too much sometimes. Smart men walk, in her looping script, chilling as the lake fog. Then flames erupted from my supply shed at midnight, acrid smoke pulling me out barefoot. I hosed it down, but tools gone, Sarah's blueprints singed. Yet my cams nailed it. Victoria's hubby, Derek Lang, face clear in infrared, a guy with arson priors fleeing like a shadow. Heart racing, I called the cops, but bigger fish swam in. An FBI agent, Sofia Ramirez, showed up unannounced. "Mr. Hayes, your tips match our probe into Summit's laundering racket. Millions washed through fake developments. Victoria's aliases popping up in Idaho, Wyoming, ruining vets and single moms." Turns out she was Vicky Larson back then, preying on a war hero like Tom Ellis, Alex's brother-in-law, faking fines till he sold his grandpa's ranch cheap, spiraling him into divorce, depression, all to flip land for profits. Motive crystal. Victoria's bonus hinged on clearing my plot for Summit's $60 million lakeside empire. Her power trip masking corporate greed, community values, a smokescreen for bulldozing lives. The Fed sting. My role, play broken, wire up, lure her in. "Victoria, let's talk sale, I'm beat." And she bit, arriving smug with her board of paid shills, briefcase snapping open. "Smart choice, Ryan," she purred, papers sliding over. "120K, take it or leave it. Contamination cleanup eats the rest, you know." I pressed, feigning defeat. "How'd you pull the deep fake? And Summit's cut?" And she boasted, leaning close. "Easy tech these days. Gathered your clips from cams. Idaho ops netted millions. This lake's next. 150-mile pipeline. Individual gripes bow to progress." Bingo. Confession taped. Feds swarming like ghosts from the trees. "FBI, hands up." Victoria's face crumbling from triumph to terror, snarling at me cuffed. "You'll regret this, Hayes. Networks like ours don't fall easy." But they did. Raids nationwide. Summit execs nabbed. Her hubby too. $40 million clawed back for victims like Tom. Rebuilding his life. And Alex's sister, Mia, the nurse who'd lost her trailer to similar scams, now starting fresh with her kids. Months later, watching Victoria, Vicky, get 10 years in federal court, judge thundering about her assault on home and heart, restitution flowing to shattered families, new laws clamping HOA overreach in Montana and beyond. It felt like closure. My cabin rising solid by the lake, solar humming, garden blooming where I'd scattered Sarah's ashes, community rallying with apologies and hammers, Alex launching anti-fraud tools online. I've consulted for the feds since, spotting scams, channeling loss into wins, mornings on the deck with coffee, eagles wheeling, whispering to Sarah, "We did it." Yet, as sunsets paint the water, I wonder, were we too quick to trust systems again? HOAs, developers, they evolve, prey on the grieving, the isolated. What if the next Victoria's already scheming, boundaries blurring in ways tech can't catch? Makes you think, right? Drop a comment below. What's your take on justice in these land wars? Ever fought an HOA bully or seen greed mask as community good? Share your stories, hit like if this hit home, subscribe for more real talk tales. Because sometimes standing your ground changes everything. But the fight? It never really ends.